Hey, it's Ruby. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Spooky season is upon us, and I do like Halloween. I don't love it. I love Christmas, but Halloween's my second favorite, I guess. I do love the decor of Halloween, the like spooky cutesy stuff, not the super scary stuff, but I love ghosts. We have Fred the Ghost pillow in the background, which is a year-round pillow for me because I'm not gonna put him away, but that's the extent of my decoration. Since we're moving from state to state, I just don't like to buy a lot of stuff, and I left a lot of stuff in Texas because when you move like your whole place from coast to coast, it's intense. But I have my Halloween Town sweatshirt. I love Halloween Town. The first one is my favorite one, and then the second one, and then you know, I do not like that they replaced the main girl, but her movies I loved. Anyway, we have a TBR to get through. I don't think I'm gonna read every single thing, but there's 3 that I want to read for sure. And then I have an arc, but it is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. And I think it said it didn't come out till January 14th, 2025. So next year. But maybe I'll just read that one on my own and then let you know what I thought in a wrap up or something, since you can't get that one right now. But 3 physical books, let's go through them. So the first one is a vampire book. It is Bless Your Heart by Lindy Ryan. Ever since I bought this book, I've been wanting to read it, but I wanted to wait for October. I think that this is gonna be just like cozy spooky vibes. Obviously it's vampires, so we will talk about them all more when we pick them up. And then we have a classic. I think I just really love this author, Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I think this is more like spooky haunted house vibes, so it is gothic, so I'm excited about this one. And then the last one is a pretty new release that has blown up. Everybody has been reading this and I want to read it too. I'm filming this, I'm starting it pretty early. I don't know when you're gonna see it, but it is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. Everybody's been reading this. They've been saying it's really good. And we have ghosts, or like ghouls, something like that. I heard ghosts, and it is called Phantasma, so they're very different. Vampires, haunted house, ghosts. I think we're set. So yeah, which one do we start with? I think I think it has to be Bless Your Heart. I mean, the way that I've been just like, oh, so ready to read this. Let's start off with Bless Your Heart. Good morning. I have a Bless Your Heart update. I didn't realize how short this book was, and I was thinking when I did my October TBR, I did the TBR jar picks my October reads, and one of the prompts was a book that's under 300 pages, and I was struggling. I was like, oh, I can't find one. This is 295 pages. I could have chosen this, but it's okay. But because it's so short, I am flying through it. So last night I like showered, I did my skincare, I did all the stuff, right? Got into bed, and then I started this book, and I've been listening to the audiobook while following along simultaneously because I was getting a little distracted. I was texting my husband, I was on social media, I was doing all the things, but I did pay enough attention that I know what's going on. So I'm on page 119, about to start chapter 16. One thing I wanted to point out, there are a lot of characters in this book, and this is pretty cool because, as you can see, each chapter starts off with a name, and we're essentially switching POVs every single chapter, which is kind of crazy. I brought my reading journal because I wrote down some things that I wanted to talk about, because I don't know, it's unique. I've never really read a book like this where it's so short and it's switching POV so much. I just don't know how she's doing it, but it's working, so good for her. But yeah, essentially we follow 4 women, and they are 4 different generations of women. We have from the granddaughter all the way up to the great grandmother. So we have these 4 generations of women that own a funeral home, and they essentially are protecting the town from strigoi, which are vampires, but in this world they say that they're more like ghouls. So I don't understand what that what the differentiation is, other than they pointed out that they die, like the people die, they don't necessarily have to get bitten. I don't know, I was a little lost there, but essentially they'll die and then they just wake back up, kind of like very zombie like. So like a mix of zombie and vampire, and these are not cute. They are not cute. They are, you know, dead bodies essentially. And the longer that these strigoi are left alive after they die, they get stronger. So these women will accept the bodies with their funeral home, and when the body is reanimated, they unalive it a second time to make sure they like take all the, you know, all the proper measures to make sure that this body is not coming back, but is still like available for the viewing and the funeral for the family. So that's pretty interesting. But like I said, we have a ton of characters that I'm gonna put up on the list in order of appearance. And in my reading journal, I'm not gonna show you because I've been crossing out when people, you know, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, but essentially we have Edwin, we have Lenore, Luna, Grace, Ducey, Snow, Deputy Roger, Sheriff Buck, Kim, and Deputy Brandon. So all these POVs. And from what I remember, Ducey is a great grandma. She is the matriarch of the family, and her daughter is Lenore. Lenore's daughter is Grace, and Grace's daughter is Luna. So that is the chain that we follow. So yeah, of course there's a lot of other things that are happening, but I'm not going to tell you. But right now we kind of have a mystery. We have 2 questions. Something's going on with Luna, and we don't know what exactly is going on. They already alluded to it a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you because, again, I don't want to spoil that for you, because I was like, what? But yeah, something's going on with Luna. And also they keep talking about how there's something buried under Lenore's rose bush, and I want to know who or what is buried under there, because I think they said like they have to feed it or like keep it alive or keep it I'm not sure, but they keep talking about those 2 things. Something's going on with Luna, something's buried under the rose bush, and also, you know, they're dealing with these strigoi that are becoming more and more of a problem. The horror elements are light. Like if you're like, oh, I'm afraid of God, I don't want to, they're light. Like, I mean, other than, you know, you have bodies, but even at that, it's not like super gruesome. They do mention, because some of these bodies are like mauled, but I feel like it's at least 40% in, very mild on the horror, more mystery, and we're just kind of following them around and getting the introductions to all these characters. So yeah, I'm gonna finish it today probably, because it's pretty short unless I get distracted doing other things. I do have to do other things, but mainly editing my book club's reading vlog so I can post it today, and then film a couple of TikToks, and then I'm done. Then I can just get back to reading. So yeah, I'll check in with you when I finish it probably, because like I said, it's a pretty short book. So I finished Bless Your Heart, and unfortunately I didn't end up loving it, which is such a bummer, because I always want to love every single vampire book that I pick up. I joke with my husband often that I'm a vampire because I don't know if you've noticed, but I have pretty pointed canines, like pretty sharp ones. And I love that. I know a lot of people want their teeth to all look very just straight, but I love my very pointy canines. My brother also has them, although I don't think he has them as pointy as mine, but I love it. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't love this book, and I'm extra upset about it because I was so excited. As soon as this book was on my radar, I went out and bought it. I think I bought it off of someone like on Pango, and I'm so bummed because I gave it 2 stars. Maybe I was a little harsh on it. I feel like if you like horror, mystery horror, because that's what this was, a mystery horror, but it didn't feel very horror. Like the I feel like I'm not saying horror properly, but just didn't feel very spooky, and I just felt like it was pretty predictable, the mystery aspect. There was 2 mysteries, like I told you, what's going on with Luna, the daughter, and then what's buried under Lenore's rose bush. The one with the rose bush I felt was like incredibly predictable. With Luna, it didn't get predictable until like the middle-ish, when you're like, oh, okay, so that's what's happening. But then the end, there's another, like there's a reveal, and I was like, huh, you, at least for me, I didn't see that until that character came back on the page, and I was like, you're being weird. And then I was like, okay, okay, I see where this is going, but there's a little bit of misdirection in there to help you or not, or work against you, but it was just okay. But like I said, this is probably just because this is not my genre. So yeah, Bless Your Heart is our first book, and now I'm gonna move on to Mexican Gothic, because just as excited as I've been for Bless Your Heart, I've been for Mexican Gothic. I don't know much about it. I said in the intro that it was like haunted house vibes, and I think it might be. I could be wrong because I haven't read it, but I think it might. And I think there's also a mystery going on in there. I think it's another mystery horror, or although the horror I don't think is like super prevalent. I think it's more the gothic spooky vibes that we're gonna get in that one. But I'm excited because I have been obsessed with Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I've only read one of her books, so I don't know where the obsession comes from. I'm sure I've said it before, but yeah, I hope that I love that one, because those are 2 books that I was super hyped for. Didn't love this one, but let's see if I love Mexican Gothic. I do have the audiobook, so I think I'm gonna start the audiobook while I just finish up a couple things, and if I like the audiobook, continue. If not, well, then I have the physical copy anyway. So let's get to it. Hi, I have an update on Mexican Gothic. Butter's walking around. Yeah, so I am 158 pages in. I'm gonna start chapter 15. I'm halfway, honestly. So, oh, the little prompt's coming out. Oh, this was part of my October TBR. It says a book with a green cover. So, okay, I was hoping to love this book and I started it last night, literally last night, and I got halfway in. I was listening to the audiobook throughout the day, and then I really got into it at night when I went to bed. And damn, I really like this, which I think that Sylvia has some sort of spell on me because there's just no reason for me to like this book. Like, it's just not my thing. It is gothic horror. It's got a mystery element in it. It's historical fiction also. That's what I'm saying. This woman is so talented. The way that she writes her books is insane to me. I don't understand. Like, she put something in these, and this is the UK edition, but I'm seeing that has where I peeled off the half price sticker book. I got it at half price. It was brand new. But man, I don't like UK paperbacks because they're smaller than US paperbacks, and they're so stiff, and like you really have to break the spine, which I'm not gonna do. So I am being obnoxious and reading it like this. But I stopped the audiobook. I got like 40% in, and then I was like, I couldn't get past the fact that the narrator keeps saying the main character's name wrong. She keeps saying Noemi, and it's Noemi. And usually, she also pronounced some words wrong. Like, I can't remember, but she pronounced some words wrong, but I was okay with that. Like, we all pronounce words wrong. I'm never like, oh, not that much of a snob. But the name thing, I can't get past because she just says it weird. She says Noemi. I know it's picky, but it's very clearly Noemi. There's an accent on the I. And I can't unsee it. You know, maybe if I didn't speak Spanish or something. But it's just something that I'm fixating on. It's bothering me, so I've quit the audiobook. And I read 10% just physically, and that's way better. But this is so good. So what's happening so far? I'm not gonna spoil anything, of course, but we start off with meeting our FMC Noemi, and she is a socialite. She is living in the city in Mexico City, and she's very wealthy, and she pretty much just does what socialites do. She goes out and parties and dates around and has a good old time, buys the pretty dresses, the pretty shoes, and that's her life. Go her. But at the beginning of the book, her dad, she's at a party. I think it's like a Halloween party, which is irrelevant. But she's at a Halloween party with her date, and then her dad calls her and tells her to come home immediately. And so she does, and she's like, what's going on? Like, she thinks that the dad just doesn't want her with the dude. And he's like, no. And he gives her a letter that her cousin Catalina sent. And he tells her, like, this is an alarming letter, read it. And she does, and Catalina sounds crazy in the letter. And she's like, what is going on? Because she thought her dad was just, like, making things up or, like, exaggerating. But no, it is alarming. And she's like, what's happening? And the dad's like, I don't know, but you're gonna go find out. And she's like, me? I have university. Because she's in school. And her ultimate goal is to be able to go to like this prestigious university. And her dad kind of negotiates with her and tells her, if you go and check on your cousin and tell me what's going on, then I will pay for your university and you can go and do that and get your master's. And she's like, okay, that sounds good. So she goes because the dad thinks that maybe the cousin's husband is like abusing her. Because she's just saying she's not safe in the house. That's what she's saying, that she's not safe in the house. And so she goes to that little city or that little town where these white people are living. They're called the Doyles. And her cousin married into this, I think they're a white British family. And there is 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of them living in that house. We have the husband, whose name is Virgil, and then we have the husband's little cousin, I think, and his name is Francis. We have Francis's mom, this old lady who is horrible. What's her name? Florence. And then we have the old guy. The like he's described as like, I don't know, that borderline 90. Like, he's very, very old, and he is Virgil's dad, and he is also weird. His name's Howard. Howard is always mysteriously sick, and they're always taking care of Howard, and he's weird. He's giving me weird vibes. I feel like you should be dead already and somehow are still alive kind of vibes. Noemi also keeps having these weird dreams, and Catalina's just being crazy, saying it's the house, it's the house. And now everybody's like, Francis is also like, it's that house, like, so. And then like people in town are like, oh, that house is cursed, like cursed. And so everybody's saying it's the house, but is it really gonna be the house? Because that would be a great opportunity for misdirection, but like something is going on. Like, the house, I guess, is giving creepy vibes, although I don't see anything with the house, but like they're having she's having bad dreams and stuff, but the people are weird. Like, that family, the Doyles, weird and creepy. And I see the gothic. I'm getting the gothic vibes. It is very spooky. She's like, her only way to leave the house is to go walk in a graveyard, and that's like her bliss. Yeah, I am loving this so far. It is slow, not much is happening, and I'm still loving it. So I'm hoping to finish the rest of this tonight. It's not very long. It's 300 pages long, 301. So yeah, I'll finish this today. Also, my husband gets home today. I say that like I don't want him to come home. I do, but it's been nice being on my own, because eating has been very healthy and minimalistic. I eat the same thing every day, and things have just been chill. I've been able to film whenever I want. It's been nice. No, but he's home. He's gonna be home later, and I'm excited to see him. I'm sure Butters is, because I'm like the boring parent. I'm the parent you cuddle to, and he's the fun one. He's the one that like rough plays with him, and he's ready. He's laying on the couch right now. But yeah, let's get to it. Good morning. I finished Mexican Gothic kind of early yesterday, and I now want to chat about it and wrap this one up so we can move on to the next one. I ended up giving this 4 stars, and I feel like that's fair. But I did want to point out that I don't think that this book's going to be for everyone. I think it's very much like a bunny situation where the book's not for everyone. This is Gothic horror, and I definitely see the Gothic horror in here. And it has a mystery at the center of it. So just keep that in mind, that I just don't feel like it's going to be for everyone, but it worked for me. I really enjoyed it, but I do think that I'm biased with the author. I feel like I go into her books already telling myself that I'm going to love it. So, take that how you want, but I did think it was good. So I don't remember everything that I told you before, but essentially we do follow our main character, Noemi, as she uncovers the mystery of what's going on with her cousin Catalina, with the creepy family, the Doyles, with the house. Is it haunted? Is it not? Like, what is happening? Are people hallucinating things? Are they actually happening? She finds everything out in the end. And so I did feel like the reveal was it was okay. I wasn't, in love with it, but I was like, okay. There was this part that was a little disturbing. There are babies being consumed, and I felt like it was important to tell you, because it's not like super graphic, but it's there. So, just just keep that in mind. But yeah, there definitely are some triggers to watch out for that I'm not gonna like name them all, but look up stuff before you read this if you're sensitive to things. I never look up triggers for anything because I'm not sensitive to anything, but you might want to if you are. But yeah, check it out if it sounds remotely interesting to you. And it's fairly short. It's literally 301 pages. So even if it doesn't work out, at least you tried it. So let's move on to the next one, to Phantasma. I did start it last night. And I think I'm now on chapter 7, but I don't even think that's 50 pages in. I definitely prefer the physical book over the ebook because the ebook is just so boring. Like the physical book has, let me get it. Okay. The physical book has like words in bold letters. It has these really cool like chapter pages, intro pages. And the ebook doesn't do that. The ebook literally just has like a little tiny sentence. And I honestly missed it. It wasn't until I opened this up that I realized that it had that in there. So yeah, like this, 3 Nights Until Phantasma, in the ebook I didn't even see it because it was just a little line. So yeah, I'm on page 53, chapter 7. But I feel like I don't know enough yet of, I mean, I know what the story's about because I read the back, and the back pretty much tells you what's gonna happen, but I don't know any details yet. We've met our FMC, and I just met the MMC, but they literally had a little teeny interaction and that was it. And so I feel like I don't know enough yet to talk about it, but I'm gonna try and do some reading right now before my husband gets home from work. And I'll update you, of course, when I'm like midway, or if something crazy happens and I just have to tell you about it. Hello friends, I have a minuscule update for you because I literally read a chapter and a half in the past 3 hours. I just can't sit still. I don't know what's going on. And I stopped in the middle of a chapter like a savage because that is a thing that I do. But in theory, I'm on chapter 9, page 70, and I can at least tell you what's kind of going on. The synopsis, essentially, but in a cooler way because I am a storyteller. So essentially we're following our main character, Ophelia, and Ophelia has a sister called Genevieve. Right at the beginning of the book, their mom dies. And it's not a spoiler. She's gonna die, like immediately, a couple pages in. And seemingly her death is not even a concern. She dies, they say bye, cool, let's move on. But one thing that happens is because she dies, her magic needs to be transferred to the eldest daughter, which is Ophelia. They are necromancers and they have magic, and it's pretty cool. Like at the beginning of the book, you get this hierarchy of paranormal beings, and there's devils, demons, wraiths, and then immortal paranormal beings and mortal paranormal beings, and then classification of ghosts, because apparently there's 4 types of ghosts. So I think that's cool. But Ophelia has the choice does she do the transfer of power, or does she just let it go and her family's magic, the grim magic line, is cut off with her mom? She decides to do it because she's like, I'm not gonna be the one. I'm not gonna be going down in history as the one that ruined the grim magical line, you know? So she completes it, even though her sister Genevieve's like, don't do it. You don't have to do it. We can just travel and be free and be normal people. But Ophelia feels that sense of responsibility. So she does transfer the mom's magic before she takes her final breaths into herself. And now she's got the magic, right? Also in the beginning of the book, because keep in mind, like, your girl just started, we find out that they have an issue. There's an issue. And of course, all of these are spoiler free, these reading vlogs, but so I'm not going to tell you what, but there is an issue that they're like, what? They didn't see that coming. At least Ophelia didn't. We know that Genevieve kind of knew and she kept it from Ophelia. But Genevieve feels like Ophelia has so much on her plate. Like, she always takes so much burden and responsibility. And she's like, now our mom's dead, so I'm going to take it upon myself to fix this. And she runs off, and Ophelia doesn't know where she is. So in this world, we have an event called Phantasma. And Phantasma is essentially like, which now I get it. I get it now why people said that this was Caraval meets the Hunger Games, because it kind of is. And apparently that's what Phantasma is. It's this like tournament type thing, but with like the paranormal. Really cool concept. I hope that it's executed well, but it is a freaking cool concept. So Ophelia goes to Genevieve's room and she's like trying to look at clues because she just doesn't know where Genevieve is. She gets home and Genevieve's no longer there, and she sees a little pink note, reads it, and it just says like, I'll be back in 2 weeks, like I'm gonna fix our problems, but doesn't tell her anything. And Ophelia's freaking out, and so she goes and just like goes through all Genevieve's things trying to figure out like where she is. And she goes through her diary, and in the diary there's some papers, some like flyers for Phantasma, and immediately Ophelia's like, that's where she must be. Do we know that for sure? No, but she just says like tunnel vision, that's where she is. Like, where else could she be? So Ophelia decides to go to Phantasma in the hopes that she can just like spot Genevieve before it even starts. But the event's gonna start in like 15 minutes. And so she is pressed for time. She goes and they give her no info. They're like, we cannot tell you the names of the contestants. And so she is left with no choice but to enter Phantasma in order to see if that's where her sister is. Like I said, she doesn't even know if she's there, but she's just like, fuck it, you know? And she's in there now. And that's where I'm at. She's just entered Phantasma. Hasn't even started. It's about to start though. We find out that there are levels that they have to get through, and I don't know if you can see, but there's like little black edges because we get like night 2 of Phantasma. Right now I'm at night 1, and then when it starts we're in level 1 and level 2 and level 3, and we're gonna go on. Apparently you can like duck out after level 9, but you have to get through like all these levels, and you can quit Phantasma. Like, if you're just like overwhelmed, you can quit, but you can't quit when you're actively in a trial. I guess every level is a trial, so you can't like be like, yeah, I'm gonna enter level 1, and then you're in there and you're like, oh no, too bad, you're in there. But before the level and after the level you can leave, is what I gather. But yeah, I mean, not much of an update, but like I said, I don't know, I'm feeling chatty. I'm all alone. I'm feeling chatty. I've been scrolling through TikTok. I read like, I'm not kidding, I read like 2 pages and then I scroll through TikTok for like 30 minutes. And now it's 3 hours later. It was funny because I saw this. Well, the whole reason, let me tell you, what happened was that I was checking up on my posts because I'm trying to post every day. I don't think it's gonna happen forever because I already like don't know what to film anymore, but I've been doing okay. And I was checking out my video that I posted this morning like at 10, and I checked it like at 2 and it had like 10 views, which I never get a lot of views, but I at least get like 200. And so I was like, what the hell? I have no idea what happened, but what can I do? So yeah, so then I just start scrolling through and I see this like edit of Rune from Crescent City. I've never read the Crescent City books, but I know that he's from there. And one of the comments was so funny. I was literally cackling. I like had tears running down my face. And I don't remember exactly what she put, but she's like, I need him biblically. And she's like, no, like seriously, in a way that's concerning for feminism. And I just thought it was hilarious. I was just going through the comments laughing because they were just so funny. I was like, dang, I need to read Crescent City because the way that everybody's thirsting over this guy. Wow. But yeah, I'm going to try to keep reading. I'm waiting for my husband because it's 5:21 right now. And I'm assuming he got out of work. But he had to go to the post office because I sold 4 books on Pango. If you bought some, thank you. And he had to go drop those off so that they can go to their new homes. And then he was going to stop by CVS and pick up some meds. And then he said he was going to go get some steaks so we could grill steaks tonight. Apparently he got good news at work. And I think good news is like a raise, and he didn't get a raise. So then what's the good news? He's just a little geek, like a little nerd. And so he gets excited when like they're doing these cool projects. And I'm like, but is it a raise though? Yesterday I always help him like scan in documents and like turn them into PDFs and stuff. And he finished his assignment. And he's like, okay, can you help me like with, and I was like, yeah, okay. So I go to my computer and he's like, oh, this assignment was so fun. And I was like, because right now he's doing his master's. He's an engineer. He's a computer engineer, an electronics engineer, and I don't know what his master's is in. But I'm assuming engineering because he goes to Johns Hopkins Engineering. Yeah, he's like, it was so much fun, blah, blah, blah. And he's like telling me about it and I'm like, math, like what do you want me to say? I was a liberal arts major, like I got a degree in psychology, like I don't know what you're saying. And he's like, fine. Like I always listen, but sometimes like my intrusive thoughts and like my pettiness and my sarcasm comes through. I really try and reel it in because we are so different. We've been together for nearly 20 years now. Yeah, I was 15 going on 16 when we started dating, like kids dating, and now I'm gonna turn 35 next year. Needless to say, we know each other a lot, very, very well. And I am the definition of a black cat, and he is a golden retriever, like 100%. So I think it works because even though we're so different, we have a lot of similar interests and hobbies. And like just, we are open to each other's, well, he doesn't really take part in like but you know what? No, let's not drag him. Let's not drag the man. He's not even here to defend himself. But like whenever I get excited about a book, like I want to tell you guys, like I am right now, but sometimes the thoughts that I'm thinking, I'm like, don't put that on the internet, girl. Like, don't put that on the internet. So then I tell him. Or I will literally like read an entire book and then I will tell him the story, which I've been told by my brother and by my husband that I'm a top tier storyteller, but I can't tell you the stories because I curse a lot. I'm very animated, which I just get into it, so I've like told him like whole thriller books because he doesn't want to hear about a romance, but like a thriller, I'll tell him and he's invested. And he's like Bunny, I told him the whole story and he was like, that sounds good. I was like, no, I made it sound good. But yeah, like we have a lot of similar interests and like likes and dislikes, but we are completely different. That being said, like you're probably like, we don't care. Like, get out of here. Fine. I'll keep reading. have finished Phantasma and now I can talk about it because those previous updates were just me rambling about whatever, but now I know. So, like I said before, we do follow Ophelia, who has a sister named Genevieve, and she essentially follows Genevieve into Phantasma, which is this magical competition that takes place in a haunted mansion. So that was pretty cool. And Phantasma has, I had heard of it being described as Caraval meets the Hunger Games, or Caraval meets Throne of the Fallen. And I feel like it is giving all of those things. Mostly the Caraval aspect, I guess, because it is taking place specifically in this haunted mansion. So we have like an actual setting where these games are taking place, and everybody in this haunted mansion is a part of these games, with the exception of one person, maybe. If you read it, then you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah, she enters Phantasma because she thinks her sister ran off, and she goes through the levels. She makes a bargain with someone when she's in there to help her get through the levels and get to level 9, where she can find her sister, where she can be reunited with her, and yeah, convince her to drop out with her, and you know, that's that. But of course, along the way, she meets different devils. She meets ghouls and ghosts and a phantom. She meets all kinds of different characters, right? The mortals that she is fighting against to win this tournament, some of them are complete crap people. Some of them are very sweet. We do see some people pass away, some people give up. So all in all, it was okay. I felt like the trial aspect, the levels, they just weren't giving, because I had understood that you could give up anytime in Phantasma, but not within the trial. But I think I got it mixed up that and even at that, like, I had thought I got it mixed up with the person that was helping Ophelia said, like, I can't really help you in there. And yet he was all up in there the whole time. So yeah, I just didn't like that in any level you could just quit. And you had to make a deal with the devil. So you have to give something up in order to quit, but still, like, I just didn't like that. It just wasn't as high stakes as I would have wanted for something like this, a competition where allegedly, like, everybody dies. And there's a ton of people. There's not just like 30 people. There is like a ton of people that enter Phantasma in the beginning. So yeah, all in all, it was just okay. The romance, again, was just okay. The reveal was just okay, in my opinion. I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. But then it just all seemed to wrap up very blandly and boring. However, I will say I did end up giving it 4 stars because I was entertained. I just, the whole time, was wanting more. Like, I was like, man, this could be so good. But I just wanted more the entire time. That being said, I will be going on to book 2, which is following her sister, the sister that she runs off and chases. And this is called like the Wicked Games series or something like that. So there's going to be another set of games in there, and it's going to be completely different from Phantasma. Genevieve is going to be going to Italy, and she's going to be playing this like game with the like her host family or something. Like, it's going to be completely different. It's like obviously going to be a creepy, spooky game. So I'm excited for that. The book boyfriend in that one is an actual shadow daddy. I think he's like a shadow wraith. So yeah, I feel like I like the concept of the book, but I just felt like the execution was lacking. So 4 stars for this one. I still recommend it. It was still fun. I know a lot of people have been giving it 5 stars. I guess I went into it with too high of expectations, but recommend it. We'll be moving on. 4 stars is a really good rating still. So we are done. I am sure that I edited this vlog yesterday, and I'm going to see right now if I can cut anything else out, because I cut out a ton of stuff. Because it was like 45 minutes, and I was like, damn. But I know a lot of you like long vlogs, so I don't know. I just feel like sometimes I want to ramble, and I want to chat, and I want to this and that, and that's okay. So we had a pretty successful week. We started with our vampire pick, Bless Your Heart, and that was okay. It was an okay read. And then we moved on to our, what I thought was haunted house, haunted vibes. Mexican Gothic, and I really enjoyed that one. I felt like I enjoyed it the same way I enjoyed this, where I wasn't like fully obsessed with them, but I did like them. And then we ended with Phantasma. We had ghosts, we had devils, and I ended up liking it also. 4 stars, so it was pretty good. Nothing great, nothing really stood out, but all in all, a solid week, so I'm not mad about it. I think these are the only spooky books I'm gonna read. I am ready for Christmas books. There are 2 on my radar that I want to purchase, but I'm not buying any more books right now, so I'm a little sad about it, but we'll see. We'll see when I cave. But anyway, thanks so much for hanging out today. As always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week with another one. Bye.